What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Rumpier Sports Swing for the Fences show. We're here to break down this Thursday MLB slate. It's a small one, only 5 games, but we'll go through, dive pretty deep. We'll have some time, obviously, to really dig into this one, and that's what we intend on doing. I'm joined by my boys, DC, Big T. Kind of brings back memories. I mean, the three of us have, been around for a while doing this stuff, and when I first got started in this industry, it was DC, I think you and I were working together, and I'm not going to mention the third party that was involved in those shows, but it was you and I and another industry tout, and we used to have a lot of fun. But yeah, brings back some memories here with my boys. DC, what's up?
Not too much, man. Yeah, that was a number of years ago. I don't even know for sure who you're talking about. I have a couple.
It was, yeah. I mean, come on, it was your opponent on Twitter Sunday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. There's a few guys that could have been. So, yeah, he shall remain nameless for this show. Yeah, it's good. I mean, just a 5-game slate tonight, unfortunately, sometimes happens on a Thursday, but that does give us, an opportunity to kind of dig deep into some of these games. Cold weather still kind of throughout a lot of the country, which is getting old. Ready for some warm weather baseball, some high-scoring games, but is what it is. And, man, a really tough pitching slate tonight. So, we'll try to uncover a couple of gems at least, but I don't think it's going to be one where you need a huge performance from your pitchers to kind of contend in tournaments.
Yeah, and your boy here is going to be experiencing that tough baseball weather himself tonight. My son starts baseball tonight. I'm coaching, and it's about 45 degrees, so not necessarily looking forward to that. But 7, 8-year-olds, they have all the energy in the world. I'm sure they'll warm up in no time. Big T, what's up, my friend?
I'm excited to be a part of the crew here. We got the good crew going here early, 5-game slate, all the good mojo. There's no way we're not picking winners tonight. Short slates, I always like short slates more anyways. I hate the 13 gamers where you got a million pitchers and a million different offenses. Give me the 5-gamer with no pitching, and this is the slate we're going to ship.
The big ones, it's like – there's always some random asshole that hits 2 home runs and a couple doubles that you're just like, weren't ever even considering. And he's like 2% owned, but you got to have him to get to the top of a GPP. So 5 games, if you don't have to be as perfect, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, those massive slates, you miss the double dong and you're
just over.
Essentially done. On the smaller slates, you have a better chance of having the double dong in your lineup. So
yeah,
exactly. Make it a little more entertaining. I mean, I like these smaller slates too for baseball. It's a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, it kind of brings everybody, into the conversation in terms of being in play and in your DFS lineup. So, we'll dig in. Before we do so, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps us to continue to bring you guys these videos. We have that promo going, really in honor of DC, who had the big. Was that over the weekend, right? Was that like a Friday, Saturday when you shipped?
Yeah,
Sunday, right?
Good day Friday and then a really good day on Sunday. Yep.
Yeah. So we brought, in honor of DC getting hot, we brought back the heater promo. Different name though. It's RPS Heater 25. It's only for monthly packages. So you can choose any monthly package on the site, get 25% off your first payment. That includes all our premium content, the core plays from DC, the core plays from Big T, the playbook, projections, cash chart, cash/value chart. Ton of stuff, all one price. Like on the site, I always say every single sport included in our one price. All these other sites, 150 here, 150 there. Your opponent on
Twitter, for NASCAR. Could you imagine paying 500 for NASCAR?
500 for NASCAR, and my favorite, some of these prices are insane that these sites charge. And the best part about your argument on Sunday on Twitter is the guy you were fighting with. He comes back and just plays right into our talking points. He discounted all his sports and he lists them how much each sport's going to cost you. Not here. We don't do any of that crap. It's one price, everything on the site. No worries. Right now is a great time. Obviously, NBA and MLB both going at the same time. So good chance. Good time. You can
come to this site, get DC's baseball takes, his pitchers. You get the freaking NASCAR. You get AP's golf. You get Susie's tennis. I mean, you get every freaking sport for one, and on top of it, you get the bets. Bets team's been absolutely on fire for $100. You can pay $100 a month here for everything, or you can pay $500 for NASCAR other places.
That is a good selling point. Yeah, you get everything for $100 a month or $500 for NASCAR.
For NASCAR.
Just NASCAR. So you get 5 months with everything on our site, or you can just get the NASCAR. Take your pick.
The funny
Unless
thing
you're
is,
really
what
into
is
NASCAR.
Hoop, what's the annual is only what, 1,000 for like everything for the whole site for the whole year.
Yeah,
Or
everything
so you can have the whole site for a year for 1,000 or 500 for NASCAR.
Plus you get the NASCAR for free anyway, because we got the big
and not to mention we have NASCAR, and like I think almost everyone on our team shipped NASCAR on Sunday, so you can make up for it real quick. Yeah, it's a good point for sure. All right, anything else? I think that's about it. Well, we can go ahead and hop into it. The slate, like we said, it's small. The pitching, we'll talk about the pitchers first. Let's do the pitchers, and then we'll kind of go game by game and talk about the offenses and players and whatnot. So at the pitching position, as DC kind of alluded to, not the greatest spot tonight, not a spot you're going to feel very comfortable when picking your guys or building your roster. Some of the names that I see standing out as being potentially high owned, Nick Pavetta, 7.4K, home favorite here, about minus 180 against Seattle. I know a lot of people will probably be on him. Walker Bueller against the Padres, he's about minus 180 favorite. Aaron Sanchez is a name that's kind of popping up. Joey Lucchesi, another name. I think like those four guys will have most of the ownership on this slate. I'll go to you first, DC. I mean, do you agree with those guys as being plays or highly owned plays, or are you maybe looking to go a different direction here at pitcher?
I'm honestly not sure about the ownership. I haven't dug into that. Been trying to figure out which guys that we can actually play, and I'll let everyone else play who they want. I mean, starting at the top, Walker Bueller, I anticipate he'll be the most popular play on this slate. If you just look at him compared to the other names, he certainly stands out, but even he hasn't been his normal self. He's had slow starts to the year, 3 years in a row now. He did pitch pretty well against the Padres last time out, but overall, his velocity's down. He just hasn't looked super great. And he's got a brutal matchup here. I mean, San Diego, I think they've got the second lowest strikeout percentage against right-handed pitching. I think they'll have basically a fully healthy lineup out there, and pretty much no cakewalk at bats for Walker Bueller. There's some really good lefties: Grisham, Cronenworth, Eric Hosmer. You got Machado and Tatis, and man, it's tough. So I don't really want to pay for that. I assume some people will. You mentioned Nick Pavetta. I was kind of optimistic on him to start the year. Played him in those first two starts, and he worked out. But if you look under the hood, man, his problem has just been command his whole career. And so far, 3 games, 4 walks, 3 walks, 4 walks. He's gotten away with it, but you can't walk 3 or 4 batters a game and get away with it for long without an elite strikeout rate, which he doesn't have. Mariners swing pretty well against right-handed bats in general. So he could be fine, right? He is a favorite, of course, because Boston's offense is expected to go off. But he's dangerous. The guy that I'm looking at, and I don't like this matchup. I don't like picking on the Astros, but Alex Cobb, he was a hero for us a few days ago. His plate discipline numbers are elite, 19% swinging strike rate in each of his first 2 starts. We were all over him in his last start at 3% ownership. Astros are scary, but they haven't really been clicking. They've missed games due to COVID. They just haven't gotten going quite yet. They're going to be missing, I assume, Jose Altuve. Their lineup's out. It's a scary lineup. It is. You can't say it's a good matchup because it's not. But Cobb has been phenomenal. I think he's made real changes since going to the Angels, and it's scary for sure. Will I be shocked if Cobb gets crushed? No, but I do think he's got 8-9 strikeout upside here. He's done a couple of games in a row. He looked fantastic, every bit as good as I thought he would look in his last start, and he's my guy at 7,700.
Yeah, I like that call. I mean, coming off 2 pretty solid starts. Yeah, the matchup with the Astros, somewhat intimidating, like you said, but, I played them all throughout Coors, and they disappointed in Coors. I know the weather wasn't great there, but the last couple nights, I mean, their offense really hasn't been clicking. And like you said, a lot of guys in and out, so they really haven't hit that flow. It looks like they switched up their lineup here today too. Correa is going to be leading off. Usually he's in the middle of the lineup, so they're juggling some things around.
Tells you a little bit about how they've been swinging, right? They've lost 9 of 10 games. They're juggling their lineup. and Cobb's been great. So I think it's possible the floor kind of falls out from Cobb at any point, right? We do have a long history of him not being very good, but a lot of that was in Baltimore, and they've made some changes with him with the Angels. So he's the guy I'm rolling with. It's risky for sure, but all these pitchers are risky outside of Walker Bueller, who has a brutal matchup and doesn't look quite right to me. So yeah, he's my guy here.
Yeah, you're not going to feel comfortable when you, some nights you're going to go ahead and plug in some of these pitchers. You're going to feel good about it. Tonight, it's just not one of those nights. And I think you can kind of deploy a different strategy when picking your batters, which we'll get to in a little bit when it's on slates like this, where there's not really a pitcher that stands out. Big T, what's your overall thoughts here at the pitcher position? Anything kind of standing out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys, first of all. I mean, it's just you're not going to feel good no matter where you go. I agree that Walker Bueller he has to be the highest owned. I mean, it's just how it has to be.
I think
San Diego has a super low implied total, 3.3. He's just the only guy. And I was hoping, so I went through and looked at the pitchers. I like to look at the pitchers before I look at the matchups, just to see who's been throwing good, stuff like that early in the season, just because I don't want to get influenced by the matchup. And I kind of agree with DC. The guy that stuck out was Cobb, and he's been amazing. But then I see this freaking lineup afterwards, and man, this lineup scares me. I mean, I know they struggled at Coors, but
of course, yeah.
God, this lineup's nasty. Like it definitely worries me. So it's just the type of thing where you gotta just close your eyes and click his name and not be scared to take a negative 15 if it goes wrong. But you look at the rest of the slate. I mean, where are you going to go? I mean, you're not going to play guys like Justin Dunn. I'm not going to play Lucey, or probably not. I mean, Trevor Williams did treat me good in his last start, though. I played him in one of those Wrigley games, and he dominated somebody. So I don't know. Like pitcher, I mean, maybe we just pick offense and kind of see which pitchers slide in. If I could play any pitcher, though, I mean, it still probably would be Walker Bueller. Like if I can get to him. Just for safety, I mean, I think he gets us 15 or something most times, where all the other guys, I don't think they have that same flexibility as far as floor. But that being said, if it costs me some bats I want, I'm fine going down. And there's really only a few guys, like you're not going to put – this Weathers dude's not going to go – how's he 7,300 anyways? Isn't it like a bullpen dude, or am I wrong?
He will be a starter eventually, but I don't think – I mean, he went 79 pitches in his last outing. So
Oh, he did go 79?
Yeah,
I thought
I
he
mean,
was a lot less
like
than that.
I think you could play Weathers. I haven't played a pitcher against the Dodgers all year long. Not planning to play Weathers myself, but again, it's just tough, right?
There's nowhere to
just
go.
trying to survive pitching tonight is what you're doing, which is why I think so many people will go Bueller, because you'll probably survive that, right? He'll be okay. It's just a matter of sacrificing bats to get him. Lucey is the other guy that I'm looking at. Again, a normal slate, I wouldn't be going here, but I do think he can give us 75, 80 pitches. Like he has been a starter most of his career. He's only made 2 outings, just 1 start through 55 pitches in Coors Field. But I think he is better than people think. Has made some improvements this year. His velocity looks like it's up. A little bit of scary weather in Wrigley, wind blowing out. It's not great, but the Cubs do have a 31% strikeout rate against lefties on the year. I think Lucey will be okay here. I'm hoping for 15 fantasy points at 6,500. So
this is like the weird side of me though with Lucey. Like, I don't know if other people will like this Cubs lineup, but I freaking love Duffy in the 6 and Marisnick in the 8. Like, I love the Cubs lineup today, which scares me off Lucey a little bit.
It's fair. I mean, I would have no problem, if you told me someone told me they're stacking the Cubs. I get it. I totally get it. It's just, I do think Lucey has a good chance. So my personal combination, I've got 5 lineups, and I think 3 or 4 of them will have the Cobb Lucey combination, and I'll be paying up for bats. Might go against Lucey on one of those two in case I'm wrong about him, but it's tough.
This is a good night to hedge, right? Like, this is a good night to. We're not big hedgers, but there's nothing wrong with playing Lucey.
Yeah, it's a good hedge night for sure. Hoop, what do you think? I mean, you're the cash game guy. Where do you think people are going to end up in cash games at pitcher?
I think just because not only do we not have top end pitching to pay for, we don't really have top end offense either. So it's going to be easy for people to go ahead and just play Bueller. So I think it's going to be Bueller paired up with probably one of these 7K guys. Is it Pavetta? Maybe it's Pavetta. Or, you know, if people look at Alex Cobb and how well he's performed lately, maybe it's Alex Cobb. Just because of how easy it is to get up here, I think people will do it. And that kind of brings me into my next point. Like, it is an excellent slate. I know a lot of people have trouble doing it, and we talk about it a lot on these shows. Like, feel comfortable leaving some money on the table. Like, if you like one of these offenses that comes in cheap, don't feel like you have to go all the way up at pitcher. Like, you can leave money on the table, especially on this slate where we don't have standout offenses and we really don't have standout pitchers either. You know, in terms of the pitching position, I'm looking, man, if I could just sign myself up right now for like 27 fantasy points out of my pitchers, I'd like take that and just run with it and move on. I mean, in tournaments, go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. 100% agree. The pitchers are so tough here that I did look, you know, I spent an hour trying to find a 4K reliever that I might play that could give you 2 or 3 innings. And I couldn't find one of those either, just to, you know, to get totally different in case all these pitchers suck, gives you more salary, all that stuff. But yeah, it's just one of those slates.
Yeah, I mean, Big T, I mean, you kind of talked about it too. I mean, this is a floor slate at pitcher. I mean, you kind of alluded to maybe just ending up going to Bueller because of the lack of options, and you feel comfortable with him getting you 15, you know, 16, 17 fantasy points. I mean, is that 27 number I threw out there? Would you be good if you could just get 27 and get the hell out of the position?
I mean, honestly, I'd probably take less. If you guaranteed me double digits, this is going to sound bad, but if you guaranteed me double digits for both pitchers, I think I would take it on every team. Like, I just would. Maybe you don't like. We use this example on the value slates and hoops, but maybe you don't have the upside to ship the whole thing. But if you get double digits from both pitchers tonight, you're going to be in good shape to profit, which is our ultimate goal. I mean, we want to make money.
Yeah.
I'll take double digits because you know what? Some of these pitchers are going to go negative tonight. I guarantee it. Or they're going to be at like 3-4 points. I'll take double digits.
That's kind of my point with Lucchesi, where like, yeah, he's not going to have a completely full workload here. You're hoping for 75, 80 pitches, but like, man, if you're pitching well through 4-5 innings, I don't need you coming back out with 80 pitches.
Yeah, sit down.
We're good.
Yeah. It is a weird feeling because I mean, it's like you got to change your mindset because you always want your pitcher to go. You know, your guy's out there doing all right. You want him to go
get him out of there. Get him out.
Yeah, you want him to go like 120 pitches. They pull him at 100. You're all pissed off. This is a little bit different. Yeah, if you play one of these cheap dudes and they're, you know, unscathed through 4 innings, like you're good. Like go to the bench, bring in the bullpen. Let's move on. So it's a different mindset, and you know, it's a different mindset too. Just kind of moving into the offenses here, where you know, for me, I really like slates like this because sometimes you're going to go into this and you feel obligated to play certain pitchers, or you feel good about a couple pitchers and you're going to, you know, kind of start your lineups with them, and it kind of handcuffs what you can do at the offensive, you know, for your offense, your hitters. Slate like this, I like just going in and getting my offensive guys, getting my hitters. I want to, you know, target certain offenses, target certain guys. I'm going to play them, and then I'm going to kind of come back to pitcher and see what I have left. I think a lot of people, when building their teams, you know, regardless of the strength at the pitcher position, they're going to put their pitchers in first and then try to build their offenses. Let's kind of just touch on that. DC, is that something that you kind of do on slates like this? I mean, are you willing to just go and get your offensive guys, your hitters first?
I mean, that's kind of my approach on DraftKings and tournaments in general. I want upside at every position. I want the best stacks if I'm going with a stack route, because like we said, I mean, on this slate, you know, the difference between getting 12 from your pitcher and 20, I mean, that's a double and a run. You know what I mean? From a hitting spot, like it's just not that big of a difference. I think people always kind of assume they have to nail both pitchers to compete. It's not the truth. What you really need to compete in a tournament is the 2 guys that doubled on, right? Those are the most important things. You know, there are some slates, of course. If Garrett Cole throws a complete game shutout and strikes out 13 guys and puts up 40, then you're going to need him. I don't think anyone's doing that on this slate. You know, I wouldn't be shocked at all if no one exceeded 25 fantasy points at pitcher on this entire slate. So, yeah, It's almost an argument against Alex Cobb because he is, I think, super risky and you just don't want to go negative. I think that is kind of an argument for Walker Bueller because he's probably going to be fine, right? And maybe that's all you need. But there are big bats I want to pay for on the slate, just relative to, again, there's not like the best matchups and the best hitters, but relative to some of the other guys you might play, I do think there are some places to spend, and that'll be my priority is kind of spending down a pitcher and figuring out the bats that I want in my lineups.
Yeah, Big T, just kind of touch on your overall approach, not just on this slate, but in general, where we're pitching somewhat weak and, you don't feel like you have to play a certain guy at the pitcher position. Like, how do you go about building teams in that scenario?
I mean, most of the time when it's like this, I just play Bueller because the safety, like I said, but the upside to not playing him is there too, because for a fact he's going to be the highest owned guy. He's going to be 50+% owned. And if he somehow gets shelled, the problem is I don't really see him ever just getting totally shelled to where he gets like a negative number. So I just think he's super, like we talked about wanting double digits. I think he's super safe to get you double digits. I mean, he's got a 6.5K prop with the juice on the over. Yeah. I mean, if he just hangs in there and gets you 15, I think you're huge on this slate. And there's tons of always. I mean, we talk about this every freaking baseball show. There's always cheap bats that I think can get us there. So for me, I probably just take the safety, but I know that's the easy way out. Like, I have no problem saying, okay, let's fade him and let's try to beat him. But for me on this slate, I mean, like I said, I loved Cobb, and I didn't even mind Javier, but it's a tough matchup versus the Angels, and this Houston lineup is just tough. So I'd rather play Bueller with one of those guys and kind of just take my floor and try to win with the bats. Like I already said, I like this Cubs lineup. I can get Duffy and Marisnick both under 3K. That negates once those guys hit a bomb for me, and I got Bueller. I got all those Bueller teams beat.
Yeah, I mean, very solid point there for sure. And I do kind of see the point of going, just locking in. I mean, Bueller, the odds of him getting rocked here, not that good. He's going to come out and
the crazy part too, though, is like, say he gets rocked and gets you -5. I still don't think you're dead on this slate.
Yeah.
Like, you can still win it with the bats.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, let's hop into those bats. First game on the slate, we have the Mariners, we have the Red Sox. It's one of the bigger totals we have here, 9.5. Most of that on the Boston side. Their team total is a little bit below 5.5. And then on the Mariners side, their team total is hovering right around 4. Nick Pavetta, it looks like he's going to garner some ownership on this slate. I don't hate the idea of getting some exposure here to the Mariners. And I always like doing that with the iffy pitcher. Like, yes, he's decent. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's great. I could see the Mariners getting to him. And I think their offense overall should be pretty low owned because, like I said, a lot of people are going to be on Pavetta at the pitcher position. Red Sox will likely be, I'd assume, the highest owned team on the slate because of that team total. I mean, their team total is, like I said, hovering around 5.5. That's the biggest on the slate. No one else is really coming in above 5. It's easy to pay up. I mean, some of these guys are up there. I mean, on DK, JD Martinez is 6K. Xander Bogaerts is 5.7. Devers is 5.8. You do have to pay a premium, but like we said, at the pitcher position, it's easy because you're not really having to pay a premium for any sort of pitcher. So I think they do come in highly owned, but I will have some exposure to them. And then on the Mariners, I do like the Mariners as kind of a leverage stack, knowing that Pavetta is going to be pretty high owned at the pitcher position. Toss it over to you, Big T. What are your thoughts here on this game? Stacks, are you looking at either of these teams to stack up? Any one-offs? Just your overall thoughts here.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, teams like Seattle just aren't going to be owned. So we talked about how you win this slate. If you stack Seattle and they beat Pavetta, Pavetta will be 30% owned plus tonight. So you get all that leverage. They got power. I mean, Haniger, Seager, Kyle Lewis. I mean, these guys have some power. They got some speed in there too from a couple other guys. It's just going to be the ownership. On this slate, there's no way Seattle's owned, and you get the leverage against Pavetta. I mean, on paper, it doesn't look like a great spot, but when you factor in the leverage, I think it's great. And then obviously Boston's going to be the highest owned for a reason. They're going against probably the worst pitcher, one of the worst pitchers on the slate. They got all the power. They've been pretty good since they started the season. Ice cold. They've been on fire. I don't know. I think they were on have they lost since that win streak? Or are they still on it?
No, I mean their offense has been on fire for sure.
Yeah, I mean they're just rolling along. So they're going to be good plays, obviously. But the problem is, if you go in there and play Bueller and you play 5 Red Sox or something, that's when you start getting in trouble in baseball. I don't think you should ever just jam all chalk in baseball. And that's where, I mean, maybe if I played Boston, I'd go to the bottom of the lineup. I like this Franchy Cordero. I always want to play him. He's got some power. He's cheap. Hunter Renfroe has power. I mean, Marwin has shown power at times. If I play Boston, I don't mind a wraparound stack, maybe fade JD and Xander, that type of thing. I'm always going to be different in baseball, though. So I like the Seattle call. I like getting a little different if I play Boston.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that you and I have always kind of agreed on. Like, you don't necessarily have to fade these popular or, chalky offenses, whatever term you want to use. You don't always have to fade them. You just have to look to get a little bit unique. And I mean, for me, I've always said the easiest way to get unique in tournaments, if you're going to play a popular offense, is to go to the bottom of the lineup. Nobody plays guys, even in the popular offenses, at the bottom. And you got to look for upside. I mean, you can't just go down there and play a shortstop hitting, 200 that has no pop. That's not what you're getting here. You're getting guys with upside. Renfroe, Cordero, even Marwin Gonzalez, Vasquez. I don't think many people pay the 5-1 for Vasquez. The popular guys are going to be Kiki, Verdugo, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts. And yes, you can play those guys, but do a wraparound or, don't start 1 through 4, 1 through 5. That is going to be
play
so
Walker
deep.
Bueller in 1 through 5 of Bob. Me and DC talked about this on the last baseball show we did. Like, don't play Walker Bueller in Boston 1 through 5, please.
Yeah. DC, hop into the conversation. Your thoughts here on this Mariners Red Sox game.
Yeah, I like both offenses here. I hope Nick Pavetta's chalk. Like I was on him that first day. I thought maybe he would, on a brand new team. I thought maybe he's still got, I think, talent. The truth of the matter, though, is he looks like this basically the same pitcher to me. He's been really lucky so far. Like, I know ERA is a way overly simplistic stat for baseball these days, but truth of the matter is 2017 through 2020, Pavetta's ERAs, starting with 2017, 6.02, 4.77, 5.38, and last year 6.89. Like, the dude kind of sucks. And this year he's got the lowest strikeout rate of his career, the highest walk rate so far. He's always, every year of his career has been giving up way too many home runs, a fly ball pitcher. And the Mariners, their lineup's not bad, right? Like, they're not the biggest names in the world, but these guys can hit, especially at the top of the lineup. Walker Bueller walks so many guys. I love that, stacking against wild pitchers. So I'm in on the Mariners for sure. Kyle Seager being my favorite bat there, but Haniger, France, Kyle Lewis has got a lot of talent hitting cleanup tonight, back from the injured list. Taylor Trammell, very, very athletic guy. He's got power. So yeah, I'm in on the Mariners, and I think the Red Sox, rightfully the highest total on the slate. Justin Dunn, not terrible, but going into Fenway, it's tough when you're used to pitching on the West Coast in Seattle and against a red hot offense who's running out, basically the best lineup that they can. So yeah, I like both sides of here. I could see a kind of a classic Fenway, 10-8 game. We see it all the time in this park. And that's kind of how I see this game going down. So I think we're kicking it off with two good offenses. Don't be afraid to take some of these Mariners bats, because Pavetta is a great pitcher to stack against. Gives up home runs, gives up walks, doesn't go deep into games. I think there's going to be a lot of offense in this game.
And just to add on to the Pavetta stuff, I mean, 4, 3, and 4 walks. So, I mean, he's walking guys. Did pick up the win in those first 2 games, so that kind of inflates his fantasy production a little bit. So yeah, there could be some smoke and mirrors here with Pavetta, but based on projection sites, he's showing up as one of the better values. I think he's going to have pretty high ownership. I think leveraging yourself against that with the Mariner stack makes a ton of sense here tonight. I really do like that play.
Yeah, don't get all excited if Pavetta strikes out 2 guys in the first inning. He'll do that sometimes. It usually falls apart rather quickly for him.
Yeah.
So just to play the contrarian side, just because this is a 5-game slate. First of all, I agree with you guys. I already talked about it. I like Boston. I like Seattle. I agree with all those, but this is baseball and ownership and everything. And someone in the chat said, my man, Big Bill Miller's the ump, which always we like pitchers again. And just there's something to be said in baseball. I've had a bunch of success. DC and Hoop have had success being contrarian in baseball too. I don't hate playing one team where if Bill Miller is actually the ump, just for straight contrarian baseball, play both pitchers in this game. And who knows how many times have we seen chalk bust in baseball? It happens every freaking day. I don't hate it. Like DC said, he's got 5 teams tonight. I got 3 teams tonight. I don't hate playing one team against your stacks and just hedging a little bit. Like I said, then you're in good shape either way. Who knows what if these pitchers go out and both put up 17 points and get you like 34, 35 total and all the offense from Boston bust on top of it? You're mint. I mean, you're in good shape, and it's baseball. It happens every freaking day.
I will say, Bill Miller, he's one of the best pitchers umps in baseball. I can't think of a pitcher who he would help more than Nick Pavetta, to be honest, who has good stuff. He just can't throw strikes. So it's not going to get me on Pavetta personally.
About the walks, I was like, all these walks are Big Bill.
Yeah. The strategy Big T was just talking about. The only reason he's talking about that is because it's a 5-game slate and we have shaky pitchers. Like this is not a strategy that you would use on a 11-game slate with the stud pitchers out there and some really strong offenses. This is a small slate strategy that you can do kind of the hedge move. So I definitely like that. I think you can definitely use it on this slate. All right, next game, Mets, Cubs, 9.5 total. The reason that total is at 9.5, looks like we got the wind blowing out to right center. I mean, nothing crazy. It's like 12 miles an hour and still pretty cool. So, I mean, if this was the middle of summer, wind blowing out, 85, 90 degrees, this total would probably be like 11.5 or 12. The cooler weather is keeping it at 9.5. But the team totals are both, hovering right around 4.75 essentially for the Mets and 4.75 on the Cubs side. Big T, you kind of talked about this offense a little bit. The Cubs guys, they have a lineup here that should be able to have success against a left-handed pitcher. A lot of guys, even at the bottom, you go down there, like you said, Duffy, Marisnik, Boat. They have guys, Javier Baez, tons of dudes that you can consider in this Cubs lineup. And then on the Mets side, we really weren't high on Trevor Williams. The Mets do have some guys in here, I think, that have some pop and guys that we can consider. So I think both sides of these offenses as well are going to be in the conversation. Toss it to you first, Big T, your overall thoughts here on this one.
Yeah, the Cubs are for sure my favorite stack of the night. I just love this lineup. I mean, top to bottom, you got all righties except Rizzo, and Rizzo has always been good against left-handed pitching. So the whole lineup, whenever I fall in love with the stack, I really want to like every batter in that stack or close to it. Maybe you don't like one or something along the way, but I love this lineup top to bottom. I like Lucchesi's got decent stuff. Like DC said, I'm not in love with the matchup that way, but it's a 5-game slate. I love all these righties against a lefty pitcher. I like it. And I think a lot of people will go to the Mets. I don't like the Mets as much. Trevor Williams isn't like a guy I like to play pitching wise, but I don't necessarily like to stack against him all that much either. So for me, I'm in love with the Cubs. I like them. My 2 favorite, like just off the wall guys, like I already said, are Duffy and Marisnik. Super cheap. You can put Bodie in there with them too, 3K. Throw 2 studs in there. I mean, Baez is one of my favorites too. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Even Rizzo, maybe you go 4 to 8 and throw out the top 3 guys because I like that. I can't wait to hear what DC says about the Cubs because I'm in love with the Cubs. I'm probably going to fade the Mets, honestly. Nemo's been banged up. Lindor always feels like a slow starter to me. He hasn't been great. I'm kind of off the Mets, so give me the Cubs, and I want to hear what DC thinks about this.
Yeah, DC, toss it over to you. I mean, what are your overall thoughts here on this game? Do the Mets stand out to you, Cubs? What are you thinking here?
I mean, it's a cop out, but I really think you could play either pitcher or either stack in this one. Lucchesi, I'm playing Lucchesi. I said it when we were talking pitching. I'm not moving off of it. Big T's all excited about Matt Duffy, David Bodie, and Jake Marisnick. Listen, those guys aren't going to change my pitching pick. I'm sorry, I'm not that concerned about Jake Marisnick out of the A-hole. I'll put it that way.
Be scared of my boys when I give you these random dudes. It's like when you give random pitchers, DC.
He's going 6 to midnight for Matt Duffy and Jake Marisnick.
What happened when you were laughing at my Freddie Galvis boy? He hasn't freaking gone for less than 18 points yet. You're making me more confident now. I'm going all in on these Cubs bottom.
I know. I figured this would go down this way.
You see, haven't you learned Big T is going to like any hitter in a platoon situation at the bottom of the lineup that's cheap. I mean, he gets a freaking hard on.
Big T's getting all excited about Jake Marisnick. I'm bumping my projection up for Lucchesi, so that's how that's going.
I can't wait to go to battle.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I kind of like what I've seen from Lucchesi so far. Again, you're not going to get
like that 55 pitches. He looked incredible in those 55.
He did. He looked incredible with me. I watched every pitch 7 times this morning preparing for this show. Yeah, he's my guy. 6,500. I'll leave these scrubs at the bottom of the Cubs order to Big T. They can knock in a couple singles. You never know. Williams, I think he's fine too, but he's just. I'll take the 2K discount there on Lucchesi. Williams, I think just kind of a slightly below average, like innings eater type. I did dig into a little bit to some of these Mets bats. Looks like some pretty unlucky starts. Specifically, Lindor has actually, I think, been swinging a pretty good bat. Just hasn't really come together for him in terms of the batted ball luck. But homered yesterday, and he's my favorite play at shortstop for sure. So I like the Mets a little bit. We don't have a lineup for them quite yet, but Lindor, Dominic Smith, another guy that can hit righties really well. I don't mind Pete Alonso against Trevor Williams. So I'm a little bit on the Mets side of this one. So yeah, we'll me and Big T can do some battle.
Yeah, I'll split it down the middle. I love both offenses here. I wouldn't touch these pitchers.
No way. You're going to go down the middle? I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I'm a sucker for the Wrigley win games. And, I mean, this isn't the full Wrigley win game. I mean, but the total at 9.5, 10 to 15 mile an hour wind blowing out to right center. I'm going to take all these hitters. So,
now Steve's talking shit in the chat, too. I want all you guys talking shit. Keep talking shit, Steve.
Is that our boy Steve Boynton in there?
Yeah, he's in there running his mouth.
He's a sharp fellow. I feel better now. I feel better.
Yeah, those are just your boys, though. Those cheap guys, bad.
Yeah, they're gonna dong tonight, and I'm gonna show freaking.
They get like 2 at bats before they're pinch hit 4.
If they, like, yeah. All right, is that verified? So if those guys dong, we get a picture of Big T's dong.
No, everyone doesn't. Just Steve and DC.
That's why I screen your phone calls, dude.
Big T was at a resort with the wife for the last few nights. That thing could be in rough shape.
It did get some use. I can confirm that.
Could be in the healing process now. Yep. All right, let's hop into the next one. Angels, Astros, 8.5 total. Pretty low total here. Angels about 4 for their team total. Astros coming in at about 4.5. We kind of talked about the Astros offense a little bit. Struggled there in Coors for the most part. They've shuffled the lineup a little bit, but some more of their key guys are finally getting back. They got Correa, Brantley, Bregman, Alvarez, Gurriel, and Kyle Tucker in the top 6 spots. Correa getting moved to the top spot. Obviously, they don't like something that's going on. They're trying to find something that's going to work for them from an offensive standpoint. On the Angels side, I mean, Mike Trout is, clearly the best hitter in baseball. I think you can consider him on every slate, back-to-back games with a home run. The rest of the Angels, though, I'm not too thrilled about it. Just be more Trout as a one-off. I do think this Astros offense is somewhat interesting. I mean, obviously, we know what their potential is. Haven't shown it lately. DC, I'll throw it to you first. I mean, you talked about Cobb. I mean, is this a situation where you could potentially take some Astros bats, hedge a little bit, stack the Astros on one team and be on Cobb on another, or are you just in on Cobb?
I'm in on Cobb tonight. I recognize could go south in a hurry.
Yeah.
It's not a matchup play. It's a belief in Cobb play. And I think a lot of people are going to play these Astros bats. Alex Cobb has not been a we saw it last slate. I was all in on Cobb. A lot of RPS people followed that, and it worked out super well. He was 3% owned. He's going to be higher than that today, but I don't think he's going to be highly owned. I think people are going to play this Astros lineup. It looks scary for sure. I mean, I'm scared of it, and I have Cobb in my lineups and believe in him. So it gives you leverage that way too, right? Like if Cobb does well, he's going to take down, I think, a lot of Astros lineups with him. And I mean, like I said, this team has lost 9 to 10 games. They're not playing well. It's struggled in Coors Field, and Cobb has looked good. So that's the way I'm going. And I actually like the Angels bats. You mentioned Mike Trout, obviously a phenomenal play. Christian Javier, the opposing starter, he's a very unique pitcher. Throws a ton of fastballs, and most of them are up in the zone. That's kind of his signature pitch, is these high fastballs. Has a super high fly ball rate, one of the highest in all of baseball. Gets a ton of pop-ups, but man, I'll take my chances with Ohtani, Trout, Walsh, my guy Justin Upton, challenging those guys with fastballs all game long. That's what he's going to do. It's a pretty good hitter's park, obviously, with that short porch over in left field. So yeah, I'm in on the Angels. They're actually my favorite stack. Again, Javier does get it done, but his margin for error is small against these power hitters that the Angels bring to the table. I'll take my shot there. And this isn't the same Astros bullpen we've seen in the past years. They're really not very good. So I'm in on the Angels here.
Oh, yeah, very, very good. Just wanted to give our sports betting team a shout out. They nailed that Pirates money line this afternoon. Joey Work was on the Pirates money line. Pulled that sheet up this morning. Like, you know what? I'm going to toss some money on the Pirates money line. And what do you know? The Pirates won 4-2. So Bet's team is doing a phenomenal job over there with the content and picks. That promo code still works. The get bets. You can get the bets portion of our website for free for the first month if you sign up for a monthly package that includes bets and DFS. You get 25, or you get the bets portion for free. So head on over and check us out. Either you guys get on that Pirates game?
I did.
Yeah.
Everything Joey Work puts on, I get on.
Dude,
Yeah.
They win like every single day. Yeah, of course. You just got to tail them.
It's like nuts. And they got more, a lot more baseball. They got a pick for the Giants Marlins game. They got a pick for the Angels Astro game that we're talking about right now. So good time to head on over, check it out. Also, hit the damn like button. I don't like continuing to have to ask for that. Just hit it and get me to a number that I'm satisfied with, and I won't have to ask anymore. Big T, thoughts on?
We got to talk about our winner yesterday too on that show. We said New Orleans. Well, no, that was two. Who did we say yesterday? We gave whoever we said rolled yesterday. Who was that NBA pick?
Let me pull it up. I know.
Can't even victory lap, right? Because I forget who it was, but whoever on that show.
Oh, you gave the Raptors.
Yeah, the Raptors. They won by. They pounded them, right?
Yeah, they won by 11.
Yeah. I was trying to take a victory lap, and I forgot what I was even victory lapping. I remember we won, though, because we had the Nuggets, and we had them, and then we lost them because Memphis fell apart on us. So we went 2-1.
That was painful. They were up by like 20 in the first quarter and just died. Absolutely died.
But yeah, so I might as well make it a fun show and just disagree with the DC, because everybody's been saying, "Oh, Big T, you on DC's jockstrap, you just ride him to the promised land." So I might as well freaking argue with him again here, because
it's worked out well if you've been tailing DC through the beginning of baseball season.
Have. Yeah,
you got to know when to jump off, though. Yeah, I'm not offended.
It makes it more entertaining to disagree. But Javier is going to be so freaking low owned just because of the price. I think 9,600. He's always had decent stuff where I'm not that scared. Of course I'm scared of Ohtani, Trout. Obviously I'm scared of those guys. But you get towards the bottom of the lineup, I'm not in love with those guys. I think I'm starting to sell myself more on Cobb, so I will agree with them there. Houston has just been terrible. The lineup looks, I agree completely with him on that side. The lineup looks really good. It could obviously beat us. Obviously, we're not saying anything you don't know when we come out with that. But Cobb looks good, and I'm going to trust a pitcher looking really good versus a team that has looked really bad. It's just, I believe in streaks in baseball, and I'm always going to believe in streaks. And until Houston breaks out of this slump, I might as well just play Cobb and take my chances. So I'm in there with him. I'm going to play Javier too, though, a little bit. Just mix him in on non-Bueller teams. I doubt I ever play Bueller with Javier, but maybe as a pivot off Bueller just because of the price tag. I don't know if I might fade the bats in this game. That'll be kind of my stand of the night. Fade both of these offenses who both should get a little bit of ownership, especially the big names. Trout, Ohtani, Bregman, Correa, Yordong. All those guys are going to get good ownership. I might just fade this game and hope it's a nice little pitcher's battle.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of ownership on the slate, we have the Red Sox. Red Sox are going to be the highest owned. I think a lot of people go to the Mets and the Cubs next because they're going to see that bigger team total. They're going to see that the wind is blowing out. I think the Astros come in as probably like the fourth highest owned team. And then the Angels will, I think, with Trout in their lineup, will always get some sort of ownership as well.
Nobody on the Dodgers?
Dodgers might sneak in a little low.
Yeah, I think they will, and plus they're like, I always think these 10 p.m. Eastern games, the West Coast games, the ownership is always lower than it would be if it was at like 7. So yeah, I agree. I think the Dodgers come in low as well. All right, let's hop into this next one. We got the Marlins, we got the Giants, a low total here coming in at 8. On the Marlins side, their team total is pretty low at 3.5. On the Giants side, they're, in between 4 and 4.5. We'll say 4.25 for their team total. Both these teams are going to have like no ownership. I don't think anyone will be really looking to go here. Pitchers Park, 2 offenses that aren't all that appealing from a DFS fantasy perspective. Go to you first, DC. I mean, do you have any interest in the Marlins, Giants, or any one-offs here?
Yeah, especially the Giants side of this one. I mean, their offense is kind of sneaky okay. Buster Posey, Evan Longoria are like legit raking, like like it's 2010. Honestly, they both look really good, and all the metrics that I could find back up their performances. Daniel Castano throwing from the left side here. I mean, both those guys are notorious lefty mashers, right? Like for years and years, they've hit lefties well. Even when they're struggling over the last couple of years, they've still been much better against lefties than righties. Castano, I don't think he's any good at all. I talked a couple days ago about stacking up the Baltimore Orioles against Nick Nieder because I think he's just one of the worst starting pitchers in baseball. That worked out, right? Even though you don't love the Orioles bats in general, this kind of seems like a similar situation to me where I'm not in love with the Giants hitters for the most part, but I'll play a stack against a horrible pitcher like any day of the week. So I think Castano is very bad. I think he's going to struggle to get strikeouts. Had a 2% swinging strike rate. Like he literally got like 2 players to swing and miss one time in his last start. So yeah, I like the Giants. The Sanchez, he's been a guy that I used to like, but his velocity is way down. I don't trust him. I just don't know who to play on the Marlins really outside of Jazz Chisholm from the left side. I assume he'll bat leadoff tonight. So yeah, I really, really like Jazz Chisholm, but other than that on Miami, maybe a Corey Dickerson. You could full stack against Sanchez if you wanted to. I don't have interest in either of these pitchers, and I really do like the Giants offense. If I end up with the Walker Bueller team, it'll probably be a Giant stack just because I'll have the savings. Bueller would, I can play Bueller with the savings that the Giant stack provides.
Yeah. Now, I was set to pose Big T with the exact same question that I just posed to you, whether or not you like either offense. And then as you were talking, I started to take a look at this Giants offense, and I decided to take a look at the opposing pitcher, and we have Castano, a lefty. Okay. Like you said, I start going through this Giants lineup, potential lineup, the projected lineup. We don't have their real lineup.
Looks kind of tasty, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I see a guy named Wilmer Flores on the Giants. Yeah. I see a guy named Darren Ruff on the Giants. I have a sneaky suspicion here that Mr. Big T is going to have some interest in the Giants bats tonight.
I mean, you have to against a lefty. I'm always going to.
I don't think I've ever done a show with Big T.
Can we rename Big T Big Platoon?
You can, because it is definitely for my one-offs. My one-offs are always the platoon guys. You can just bookmark it maybe not the stacks. Like I don't usually full stack San Francisco, but When I do, me and Hoop root in 100K winners on San Francisco.
Yeah, I will say one of like we talk about with Big T a lot. Like he obviously, absolute heater DFS wise. The original heater that I witnessed from Big T started with the Giants and Wilmer. Was Flores on the team at the time?
I don't know if he was there. No, he might.
Yeah, but it was the Giants.
This was a while ago.
They scored. Remember, they scored like 9 runs in the 9th inning or something.
It was a legendary showing.
Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, but I'm always going to like the Giants against the lefty. I mean, Slater, Ruff, Wilmer. One guy I'm definitely not going to like is Buster Posey. Sorry ass.
Big T, you're in for a rough night tonight, my friend.
You're acting like these dudes are like crushing, so I click on them because I'm interested. Like, oh, Posey's been so good. He's got 1 double-digit game in like the last 12 games. Like, where's the heater at?
He had double dong, man.
33 points. He had one good game. Every other game's got 1 hit. Where's the heater at?
My Buster Posey's hitting .310 with 4 home runs.
We get points for average now
on April 22nd. That's pretty damn good for a catcher.
I mean, he gets 1. I mean, if you want a single, then Buster Posey's your guy. He's gonna definitely get you a single tonight. Longoria, I like Longoria slightly more. He gets like 1 hit a night too. No double-digit games for Longoria either. I mean, what do you consider hot? 310 average?
I mean, I kind of consider anything that has happened this season hot. It's freaking April 22nd, man.
So if they had 1 good game, they're hot? I mean, I can't even find a double-digit game for Longoria.
Well, I'm not the one scrolling through game logs. I'm trying to look at some metrics over here. So I don't know. I haven't clicked on Buster Posey's game log. I got to be honest.
I did, and it's not pretty.
He had 2 home runs
in 1 game. Yeah, that 1 game he was.
Well, that would work tonight for me. 2 home runs from Buster Posey. I'll take that one.
Good luck getting it.
How many times a year do you got to hit 2 home runs before it counts for something?
You only need it once. You get that shipper on that one, and you're in good shape. He already got it though. He's not hidden. You guys can enjoy Buster Posey. I'll pass on him.
I will. Thank you.
That's it? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, if you want 5 points, then he's your guy.
And you didn't even get excited to talk about your boys. You got more excited to.
Well, you already sold it for me. You oversold it. You said
we want Big T to get excited about his boy. I mean, these are your guys. I mean,
they're not my guys tonight. I'm not as excited. I'm more excited about Matt Duffy.
Okay.
You should. All right. There's still time to register before these contests fill up, Big T. It's gonna be a rough one for you.
These are the slates I ship.
You got any head-to-heads out there?
I mean, save those for title.
Title and Mangone. You took down Title and Mangone, right?
Yeah. I'm playing title again in MMA this week though, because there's 3 main events, and he just splits them. So I told him if he splits 2 of the main events, then I'll play him again head-to-head because I like playing people that start out 4-2 at best.
Yeah.
So send them title.
That's a pay-per-view one, right?
Yeah, 3 main events. DC's doing the show on Saturday to get us some winners.
Yeah. Meet title Joey Work 11 a.m.
I love that show.
On Saturday morning. Yeah, we'll get title touting in there to play 2 sides of every main event. It'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Is he going to do it on all 3 of them, you think? Just go 3-3 and make me beat him?
So wait, what are you saying he does? He takes 2.
Well, there's 3 5-round fights this week, so he always just splits them to get it. So maybe this week
he'll play all 6 fighters from the 3 title fights.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He might do it. Come on, title. Send it over.
Is Title in the chat? Is Title listening?
Title's always listening. You know he's listening right now.
Yeah. All right. Last game on the slate. We got the Padres. We got the Dodgers. A small total here, 7.5. A little over 4 team total for the Dodgers. Small, 3 team total essentially for the Padres. That's because they're going up against Bueller. I will likely be fading the Padres here. I mean, the matchup with Bueller, not great. They do have obviously some good individual bats in their lineup, but me personally, I will be off. The team I do have interest though in is the Dodgers. They have guys on their team that are built to do well against left-handed pitching. You guys kind of indicated you don't think Weathers will go super deep into this game, so maybe they don't have that advantage super long in the game. But guys like Betts, Turner, Chris Smith, Will Myers, Pollock are all guys that
literally their whole lineup. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of have interest in all those guys. And this is a team, these late West Coast games, the ownership always comes in low, especially if their lineup doesn't get out early. So I have some interest in the Dodgers. Should be a low-owned team tonight. No interest in the Padres, though. Big T, thoughts here on this Padres-Dodgers game?
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely. Like, the Dodgers are going to be too low owned. The Dodgers, you should always have some interest in them just because they can go off for 15 runs literally any night versus any pitcher.
You're feeling pretty good if you got a good team going and you got a 5-man Dodgers stack in the late game like that. Yeah. You're feeling good, you know.
Like, yeah, say your plus ones get you double digits, your pitchers get you double digits, and you got the Dodgers. You're going to be feeling very, very good.
A 4 total for the Dodgers against Ryan Weathers.
I don't get it. Like,
yeah, that's what I don't understand. Like, is like, why is it so low? Like, why?
Weathers is okay, but man, I'm telling you, he's nothing to fear for this lineup.
Is he like a young prospect or something? Or
I don't understand that. I don't understand his price too. Why he's 7,300 against the Dodgers? I don't understand the total. It doesn't make sense to me. All the way around in this game, I don't get it.
Yeah, give me that Dodgers team total over for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a free square, honestly. Like, I'm nervous about how easy it looks.
I'm logging in right now. I'm going to check that out while you guys speak. I mean,
so somebody text Joey Work.
Yeah, I mean, does Joey Work like it? Is he in here? Joey Work, is this a winner? I mean, I don't know.
It's got to be.
Title's in there, though. Title saying false. He said he had slander, what you guys are saying. Not true.
I knew he was listening, though. There's no way he wasn't listening. I can't wait. Title, send it over. We're playing this Saturday. I need revenge from all the beatdowns you gave me.
Basketball court revenge in the form of MMA head-to-heads.
Only way I play a head-to-head is if the person I'm playing takes 2 losses before the slate starts. And then I'll play them and take my chances. The best part is the last time we did this and he did that, I had like my worst MMA night ever and he just pounded me.
Anything else here, Big T?
I mean, the only other thing I would say, I'd give just a similar speech to what I said about the Boston game. If you're playing a bunch of teams, I don't completely hate in baseball to do a San Diego stack just to be different against the chalkiest pitcher on the slate. You still got a lineup that can go off. It's the Padres, second best team in the National League, more than likely. They could easily go off against him. And if they do, and you got this stack at 1 to 5% owned against a 60% owned pitcher, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have a very good night. Yeah, it might not happen often, but it can happen, and it's a 5-game slate. It's baseball. I probably won't do it. I'm only playing 3 teams. But if you're playing like 20 teams, I don't care. But burn a few teams on the Padres stack.
Big T, you're hedging harder than Hoop typically does.
I know. It's embarrassing.
You started the show saying, I'm just going to take the points from Walker Bueller. Easy points on Walker Bueller. Now you're ending the show saying, man, if Walker Bueller sucks, the Padres could get there.
Yeah.
Get your story straight. It's going to be a rough night for you, dude.
No, I took a stand on the Astros bats. No Astros. Oh, I can't wait, DC.
Come MMA Saturday. Big T is going to be both winning of the main events. All 3 main events.
I'm playing all. I'm starting out with all sides of the main event. Oh, that would be classic.
He's going to use the Titletown strategy against Title himself.
Yeah, how funny would that be if I beat him with this strategy? Oh, God. He double stacks 2 of the main events. I
got all 3.
All 3 of them.
Damn, why does Big T have so much PMR left going into the
Oh, you guys are tempting me. It would be hilarious if I did that and beat him.
Beat him at his own game. DC, thoughts here on this one, just to wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the Dodger side of it. I'll pick out a batter 2 against Walker Bueller. I'm not going to go with the full stack. Cronenworth, Grisham, and Hosmer being my 3 favorite guys as kind of one-offs, right? Like if you're fading a chalk pitcher, I always like to get one bat in there against them in a tournament and hope they can do some damage by themselves. And obviously you get the leverage against the popular expensive pitcher.
Yeah. All right. I think that is mostly going to do. We got NBA coming up after us. Who's on that? I know Mangone. I'm going to pull that up. Mangone, Title, and someone else. Let's see who it is. Mangone. Oh, Mangone, Title, and JT Hayes. So should be an interesting trio, the three of those gentlemen talking NBA. Before we get into the plays of the day, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us to continue to bring you guys this content. Also, we have that partnership going with SuperDraft. If you go to SuperDraft and use the promo code RUNPEER, you get $100 match, up to $100 match on your first deposit. We have picks and plays in our core plays section of the website. So head on over to SuperDraft, use that promo code RUNPEER. We're going to get into the plays of the day. And you know what? I'll just go first. I'm going to go first right out of the gate here with the Forex play of the day. This guy I didn't talk about a ton, and it's a guy who's pulling up the game log has absolutely sucked lately. Wow, that's painful. Like 0 for his last 16. Kyle Seager. I'm going with Kyle Seager. I like the Mariners today. I think they'll be low owned. Kyle Seager is going to be the Forex play of the day. All right, we're going to go to DC with, what's the official name? Mom's Basement, right?
Mom's Basement play of the day. Yeah,
Mom's Basement play of the day.
This is an easy one. I usually have it narrowed down to 3 or 4 guys before we start the show, but given Big T's lack of knowledge on a certain catcher out in San Francisco, Buster Posey. I know you've only hit 2 home runs 1 time this year, so I pick it up, buddy. But maybe tonight will be number 2, Buster Posey, Mom's Basement play of the day.
Love it. I mean, you said he's got 4 on the season?
Yeah.
I mean, what more do you want, Big T?
I mean, I want my catcher to not suck is what I want.
You see how bad every catcher is in baseball? There's 2 that can hit the freaking ball.
I got higher expectations than you guys.
Buster Posey's on pace for 40 home runs. Not enough for Big T though. Not enough.
No.
I mean, good luck getting 40. Yeah.
This is like the Crane 37X thing. I mean,
yeah,
there's 2 catchers that hit the freaking baseball.
I personally think the fact that he hit 2 home runs in the game is a plus myself, but Big T.
I mean, do we get those tonight? Do we get
Big
the 2
T
bombs tonight?
Big T wants 3.
No,
yeah.
If we get the 2 bombs tonight, then maybe I'll play. I didn't realize we got previous games tonight. I am excited about his 310 batting average, though. That's pretty exciting.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, hits those get your points too.
I mean, he's awesome. Good luck.
All right.
No time for a real play yet.
We got it depends. It depends who you're throwing out there.
I gotta check my dude's average to see if he's a 310 average or not. I gotta check. I want those 5 points each game. But it's easy. I'll let you guys make fun of it too, because that's what I want. I want you guys laughing at my plays. It's what brings it to the winner's circle. The only option is Mr. Matt Duffy. He's going yard off of Kessie tonight. Ship it.
Matt Duffy, huh?
Make fun of it. I want to hear it. Go ahead.
I'm not saying anything. I mean, I said I'm on the Cubs and the.
No, don't be hedging. Go on DC side.
Hedging. I'm not hedging anything. I mean, when I talked about the game, I said I'm on both offenses. I'm not playing the pitchers.
I don't want you on it with me.
Well, I'm gonna build some teams before I go coach my son's baseball, and I'm going to the bottom. I'm going to the bottom of the Cubs lineup.
Let me say with Matt Duffy, it's a good thing the wind's blowing out in Wrigley because he's going to need it to get one out of there. he really cranks it, and that wind picks it up. Maybe you can get it in that, the little basket that Wrigley Field's got above the ivy. He could get one in there if he gets a hold of it.
Get it stuck in the ivy.
3 hits yesterday. That's as many as Posey's had all week, so I'm in good shape.
Oh, he did have a nice game yesterday. That's for sure.
Yeah, can we count those? I mean, am I allowed to count? Yes.
Yeah, we'll roll it. You can just roll them over since you didn't play. I mean, if you didn't play him yesterday and you're going to play him today, you get to just roll them over. And
definitely, it makes sense. He had 21 fantasy points yesterday. He's bound to do it again here.
He's on fire. He's heating up.
Fire.
Was that against the Mets, position players pitching in the 8th inning or something?
I know. I mean, I'd love to see his advanced metrics. They're probably pretty strong.
I assure you they're not.
I can't. All right. Well, you guys got me so excited for this slate.
That is a good way to go ahead and wrap it off. Our boys will be battling. I mean, you guys are really battling. We'll see who comes out on top. Is DC's baseball heater real? Is Big T's heater still going? We'll find out tonight. I mean, the boys are on opposite sides.
Who's on the show tomorrow? I better be on the show with this guy tomorrow. If I'm not, I'm coming on the baseball show.
I'll be there. I'm there every day.
I can't wait.
Welcome
JSU,
anytime,
if you're watching this, I better be on baseball tomorrow.
All right, that is going to do it for us, for DC, for Big T. I am Hoop. Good luck tonight in your contest. They'll be back tomorrow to discuss the results.
Buster.